Hey everybody, I wanted to do a video primarily to help those that are just now getting into racing. Doesn't matter your age, obviously, but there's a lot of people that have done highway racing, or they'll do some street racing, but they've never really done any track racing. So they're not really experienced in a whole lot of different types of racing, but you're starting to want to get involved in some of the track racing. They have a lot of no prep and different type of street car events now, and people are coming off the street and trying to do some of the track racing, and of course they're running into the hurdles that most people run into when they first go into the track. And I wanted to kind of give one specific thing that helps you just a little bit get an edge on the person you're driving next to when you're entering some of these streetcar events. So pay attention to this next little small clip here, and we'll go into detail right after that.
Oh no, I was wondering.
First time for him to ever go down the track.
So what he was attempting to try to do was leave a little earlier to get a better light. Here's the reason for that. It doesn't help your ET. Some people think that if you leave a little earlier that it helps out your time. It does not. What it's doing is it's your reaction from the time the light turns green to the moment your car moves. That's what that's your timer, okay? It's called your reaction time. So what Trevin was trying to do, and granted here, Trevin at this time was pretty new to doing track stuff. He was like 16, maybe 17 years old. So he was pretty new, but he knew what he needed to do, so he was learning the light. Didn't really matter if he lost or won. That car at that particular moment was not very fast. It had a bone stock 70s 350 in that little Vega, had no gear, no converter. It was a fun little street car, right? So anyway, what he was trying to do was leave on the last yellow. Now, of course, your mind is going to tell you, well, if I leave on the yellow, I'm going to red light. You're going to trigger the red light to disqualify you, or you lose the race, right? Wrong. So basically, the mindset on your average car, when you leave on the last yellow, by the time your eye sees that yellow, your foot engages the throttle, you let off the brake, your car responds to your action of moving the throttle. Now, by that point, it's green. And so that's where it comes into play. It's just all about response, the physical responses to your movement. So here's the positive side of this, the point I'm trying to get to, is that when you're new to racing, especially at the track, there's an old term that you'll hear experienced guys saying, and that's race your race. And the reason why they say that is you don't pay attention to the guy that you're racing next to, because you pay close attention to them. And let's say I'm sitting next to you, we're both inexperienced, or whichever, it doesn't really matter experience or not, but I get a really good light on you, and now by the time your car moves, I'm 2 car lengths out on you, or I'm 3 car lengths in front of you, right? Well, it messes with your head when you do that, and so it increases the chance of that other person getting a later start for them to make a mistake. So, point being, if you work that light and you try your best to try to get as close to a perfect light as possible, you actually get a little bit of a head start if the guy next to you is not experienced on the tree, right? So that's something you got to keep in mind. So this will help you get a little bit of an advantage out of the hole, especially if they have a little bit faster car than you. It gives you a little bit of an advantage on top of potentially getting in their head a little bit, increasing the chance of them to mess up. And it could be they launch a little differently, shift a little bit differently, all these different things. If they launch different, then they can spin the tires. If they shift different, they can over rev or under rev, trying to push the car, not paying close attention. They're paying more attention to you and the distance that they're having to make up than racing their race and not making mistakes, right? So this is one little area that an inexperienced racer can get better at, and it will help you. Take a look at Trevin now, and we was at Redline Raceway last year. He had a little Fox body Mustang, basically stock. It was not that fast of a car, but he was going up against the Corvette that was a lot faster, a lot quicker than his car. And watch this. So as you see, that cutting that better light really made a difference in racing against that Corvette, because that Corvette was a lot faster than the Mustang. But the guy in the Corvette was a little inexperienced. He hadn't done a whole lot of track racing. And so Trevin cutting such a serious light on him, we're pretty sure it got in his head a little bit, because on that one race, he didn't run down the track like he'd done every other time before and after that particular race. So that's the point that that we're trying to get, is that 60 foot, or that, not the 60 foot, I'm sorry, the reaction time, getting better on the tree increases your chances of winning the race when you're up against somebody like that. So keep that in mind. Yes, you're going to red light, but when you're going out on Fun and Grudge, that's what it's for. Get out there on the track, throw it out there, learn that tree. Learn your shift points, but learn that tree. Get the best light you possibly can. And the key thing is, for the slower cars, is leave on that last yellow. You leave on that last yellow, and you just got to figure out at what point to leave, so that way you don't leave too early and get a red light. So, of course, the faster your car, the more responsive your car is. I mean, all those little factors will change to where once you have a faster car, you don't leave on the last yellow, you're going to red light. See what I'm saying? So for the average street car that's new to going to the track, this is a little tip that'll just give you just a touch of an edge and help you get down the track and possibly win some races. So get to the track and have a good time, guys. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon.